Hey there! Did you know that 1 in 3 people feel lonely? Yeah, it's a staggering number, right? Loneliness is something that affects so many of us, whether we want to admit it or not. So let's dive into this topic and explore how we can overcome it, one day at a time, all right? So let's talk about loneliness. It's that feeling of being alone, even when you're surrounded by people. In today's fast-paced world, where social media connects us but also isolates us, loneliness has become a real epidemic. We're going to unpack this issue, why it's so prevalent, and what we can do about it. Loneliness isn't just a fleeting feeling. It can have serious emotional and mental health impacts. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. Think about it. When we feel lonely, we might withdraw from social situations, which only makes things worse. It's like a vicious cycle. And the challenge is that many people suffer in silence, thinking they're the only ones dealing with this. But the truth is, loneliness is an issue we all face at some point, and it's crucial to address it head on. Now let's explore some of the causes behind loneliness. One major factor is social media. Crazy, right? We think we're connected because we're scrolling through feeds and liking posts, but that doesn't replace real human interaction. Then there's isolation, whether it's moving to a new city, going through a breakup, or even just not having enough time to spend with friends. Life changes can really shake up our social circles. For example, I've had moments where I felt completely alone after moving away from home for a job. It took time to rebuild my connections. Statistics show that loneliness can affect anyone, regardless of age or background, and that's why it's so important to talk about it. Let me share a personal story with you. A couple of years ago, I hit a rough patch where I felt incredibly lonely, even while surrounded by friends. It was a moment of realization when I decided to reach out to someone I hadn't spoken to in a while. I sent a simple message saying, "Hey, how have you been?" That one small step opened up a conversation that turned into a weekly catch-up. It was like a light bulb went off. Sometimes, all it takes is a little nudge to reconnect. That experience taught me the power of taking initiative and how important it is to prioritize those connections in our lives. So to wrap things up, loneliness is a real issue that we all face, but it doesn't have to define us. We've talked about its impacts, the reasons behind it, and how even small actions can make a difference. Remember, overcoming loneliness isn't an overnight fix. It's about taking those small steps each day to build connections and find support. Let me add to that. One of the most effective ways I found to address loneliness was through meditation. Meditation helped me center my thoughts and calm the overwhelming feelings of isolation. It allowed me to reconnect with myself on a deeper level, gaining clarity and peace in moments when loneliness seemed too heavy to bear. By practicing mindfulness regularly, I became more present and attuned to the connections that already existed in my life. Journaling also became an incredible tool for me. Writing down my feelings created a space where I could reflect, process emotions, and even recognize patterns that were feeding into my loneliness. It's empowering to see your journey on paper, and it brings a sense of control over your emotional well-being. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever felt lonely, and how did you deal with it? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about building social connections, don't forget to check out my next video. Let's keep this conversation going and support each other on this journey.